The time is 6 p.m. We will now call this regular public meeting of the Board of Trustees of Humboldt ISD to order. Moving to our first item of business, a public hearing. A closed session of the board will now be held on the matters contained in the notice for this meeting. Should the board determine that any final action, final decision, or final vote be required with regard to any matter considered in such closed session, then such final action, final decision, or final vote will be made upon reconvening of this public meeting in open session. The time is now 6:01 p.m. The time is 7:01. We will now reconvene into open session. Thank you for joining us tonight. Reminder that the meetings of the board are open to the public but are not a meeting of the public. The Humboldt ISD Board of Trustees meet monthly in a regular meeting to receive reports from staff and take action from recommendations of the superintendent. The board receives the agenda and all supporting documentation several days in advance of the regular meetings, which allows us to ask and receive answers to many of our questions in advance of the regular meeting. Therefore, lengthy discussions are not always necessary on every agenda item, but as a board, we do have the appropriate knowledge and preparation for responses regarding the content of the meeting tonight. There are students and other guests present. To maintain decorum, respectful behavior is expected. Disruptive behavior and/or comments will not be allowed. And with that, our first item. I would ask everyone to stand for our Pledge of Allegiance and salute to the Texas flag. The Kingwood High School Navy Junior ROTC will present the colors this evening.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We will now observe a moment of silence, including a prayer that the Atascocita boys basketball team wins so they can make it to the state championship. All right. You may now be seated. All right. The next item is public comment. The board encourages comments from citizens of the district or from district employees. Anyone wishing to speak, either as an individual or as a representative of a group, may do so following the procedure outlined on the agenda. The board asks that comments pertain to public education issues and be no longer than 3 minutes. Remember that the board may not discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on our agenda for tonight's meeting. If an issue mentioned is listed on tonight's agenda, The board will defer discussion until the appropriate time during the meeting. In addition, the board has adopted complaint policies that are designed to secure, at the lowest administrative level, a prompt and equitable resolution of complaints and concerns. Complaints brought by students or their parents, by employees, and by citizens may be heard in accordance with board policies. Each of these processes provides that if a resolution cannot be achieved administratively, the person may appeal the administrative decision to the board as a properly posted agenda item. Copies of our district policies on public participation in meetings and filing complaints are available on the Humble ISD website. I'd like to invite our speakers to the seats up here on the front row. To my right, your left, and those are Cadence Seguin, Mr. LaQuentin Jenkins, Bailey Cox, Ms. Rochelle L. Dickerson, and for now, we'll call up the next three once our four guests have spoken. Yes, first up, Ms. Seguin.
Good evening, Dr. Brown, members of the school board, and community members. My name is Cadence Seguin, and I am the president of the Humble High School's very first National Technical Honor Society and ACT ambassador. February was a Career and Technical Education Awareness Month, a time to recognize the powerful impact that CTE programs have on students, schools, and our communities. Career and Technical Education, or CTE, is more than just hands-on learning. It is a pathway to opportunity, purpose, and success. This year, during CTE Awareness Month, Humble ISD CTE proudly recognized 6 outstanding CTE star teachers from our middle schools and high schools. The CTE department also shared daily announcements at the elementary and middle schools, highlighting the many opportunities CTE offers, inspiring awareness and excitement among our youngest learners. CTE prepares students for the real world by combining academic knowledge with technical skills and practical experience. Whether it's healthcare, engineering, information technology, skilled trades, culinary arts, business, or more, CTE programs equip students with the tools they need to thrive in high-demand careers. These programs help students graduate not only with a diploma, but with industry certifications, work experience, and a clear direction for their future. CTE also helps close the gap between education and employment. It builds confidence, professionalism, teamwork, and problem-solving skills, qualities that every employer values. Students in CTE programs learn by doing, and that hands-on experience makes learning meaningful and relevant. February is also a time to recognize the National Technical Honor Society. NTHS celebrates students who excel in career and technical education by honoring their skill, leadership, honesty, and responsibility. These students represent the very best of CTE, individuals who are committed to excellence and prepared to make a difference in their careers and communities. Career and technical education is not a backup plan. It is a smart, strategic pathway to success. As we celebrate CTE Awareness Month and the achievements of our National Technical Honor Society members, let's continue to support programs that empower students with real work skills, real opportunities, and real futures. Thank you.
Ms. Seguin, first of all, I want to apologize for mispronouncing your name. I know better. I should have asked.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead. Thank you. Mr. Jenkins.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is LaQuentin Jenkins, and the reason I'm here today is to express some concerns that I have within the Humble ISD, particularly Humble High School, as it relates to this safety. I'm going to ask you, as a father, my father is a retired Marine. He always taught me my responsibility is to protect and provide for my children. How would you respond if you received a phone call saying that someone has spat in your daughter's face? You only have one kid, that they spat in your daughter's face. I ask you, what would be the expectations you have from the staff, from the policeman, and from the teacher? Well, we recently had that experience that threw my daughter into another spiral. Her senior year was supposed to be the best year she's had. I mean, it has been great. The first semester, meeting new friends, having fun, no problem getting up, going to school, no issues whatsoever. Excited to be at Humble High School. But on the 23rd of February, she had an experience where she received basically bullying on a whole nother level. It's now at the point where my daughter is afraid to go to school. Afraid to go to school. Went from making all A's and B's, now doesn't even want to read, doesn't want to get up, don't want to do her hair anymore, don't want to put her makeup on. She avoids the cafeteria with all the new friends she recently met because she's scared. Not just afraid of the young lady that committed this heinous act, it's the 10 friends that she has behind her. I mean, think about that. I want you to think about that tonight. Your child called you because someone spat in her face, and then there's 10 other girls you're concerned about. So she avoids them all day long. Now, don't get me wrong. I really appreciate everyone in this room, and I appreciate the administration throughout the Humble School District. I have no issues with the people that are in the roles they have. I appreciate the hard work they've done to get in those positions. But what I'm asking for the school board is to look at our situation, because there's so many kids in our schools that are afraid. They're coming to learn each day, and they're avoiding the students. Some of the teachers don't have control of the classroom. I mean, I have recordings from other students. So what I'm asking you to do is to evaluate the situation that occurred with my daughter. Look at the supporting. Now, I'm not asking for anyone to be removed from a position. I'm asking for support in that space. So other children, that we have a level of advocacy for those children that are offended. It seems to be more concerned about those children who committed the act than providing safety for those who the act was committed upon. Now, I would agree, the principal, she listened, she was caring, she could relate. But guys, she needs support. And if she needs support, I'm sure there's many other principals out there that want the support to address the issues associated with this. If you were to do a survey, I'm sure there are plenty of parents. Even when I was there was a young man saying, hey, I've been telling you about these young ladies been bullying my daughter for months now. Same thing, if I'm leaving the school, I'm hearing the same thing. So I know my time is up. I'm just asking for support for the school, for those teachers to help in those spaces.
Ms. Cox.
Good evening, Board of Humble ISD Trustees and Superintendent Dr. Brown. My name is Bailey Cox. I'm a senior at Summer Creek High School and the president of our International Thespian Society troupe, SC Playhouse. I have participated in theater for 7 years as a stage manager and in leadership as a secretary prior to my current position as president. Tonight, I am joined by theater students from Summer Creek High School, and I would like to ask them to stand and be recognized. First, we would like to thank the Humble ISD School Board for their continued support of fine arts programs across our district. Moreover, I thank you for the opportunity to come advocate for theater in the district. Tonight, your school board agenda includes the proclamation to declare March 2026 as Theater in Our Schools Month. This declaration would raise awareness about the many diverse benefits of theater education. Theater reaches far beyond the stage in skills such as self-confidence, public speaking, engagement in core classes, as well as problem-solving abilities. Additionally, traits like humanity, empathy, creativity, and resilience have been proven to be linked with our many fine arts programs. And arts education has shown to raise students' ability to critique themselves, their willingness to experiment, their ability to reflect, and also to learn from mistakes. These benefits are why students from Summer Creek are here tonight to respectfully ask the board to declare March as Theater in Our Schools Month. Advocating for arts education also helps our school maintain its status as an honor troupe with Texas Thespians and Educational Honor Society. We thank you for your consideration.
Ms. Dickerson.
Quick question for the room. By a show of hands, how many of you in here has either taken out student loans for college or know someone who has? That is the reality of most Americans. Hi, everyone. My name is Rochelle Dickerson, and as a college student, I secured over $227,000 in scholarships. And for a long time, I thought that was normal. However, research shows that 40% of high school seniors do not apply for scholarships. The reason being, they don't know where to start, they don't know who to ask, they feel overwhelmed, or they don't have the personalized one-on-one support that they need. Which is why I started my organization, AGDK, which stands for Advancing Generations Through Development and Knowledge. We are a scholarship, college, career readiness company that supports students from middle school all the way through post-secondary education. One of the benefits that students receive are personalized scholarship opportunities based on their background, their interests, and demographics. They also have access to our dedicated student advisors that provide one-on-one support throughout the entire scholarship application process, essay writing, as well as FAFSA questions or requirements. Not to mention, on the platform, students are paired with AI-based college and career recommendations based on their profile background and platform engagement. And not to mention, once they graduate high school, the support doesn't stop. While they're in college, even in PhD or master level programs, they continue to get scholarship opportunities. So why am I here? My ask is to connect with at least one person in this room or get feedback on who I can connect with, but potentially explore a partnership with Humble ISD. Again, my name is Rochelle, and I am with AGDK, and I'm looking to potentially connect to establish a partnership with Humble ISD. Thank you.
Mr. Quentin Durgan, Ms. Ashley Walls, and Ms. Deanie Allen. Ms. Walls, or you can go ahead, so you don't have to sit down. You can go and step right to that podium. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Walls. I'm a proud parent of 2 students in the Humble ISD system. I have a 3rd grader at Autumn Creek Elementary and a junior at Summer Creek High School. So the letter that I wrote this evening says, "Dear members of the school board, I'm writing to express my concern regarding the ongoing issues with the school bus system, specifically the frequent delays in picking up students in the morning and the inconsistent arrival times after school. As a single parent, I rely heavily on the school bus system to ensure my child gets to and from school safely and on time. Unfortunately, these repeated delays have made it increasingly difficult to manage my work schedule and daily responsibilities. When buses arrive significantly late or at unpredictable times, it creates unnecessary stress for my Summer Creek junior, who depends on this service. 2 examples of delays due to the bus system was her missing a tennis match and almost late for SATs. I respectfully ask that the district review and address these transportation issues so that students and families can rely on a consistent and dependable bus schedule. Reliable transportation is essential for student success and for parents who depend on the system to function as intended. Thank you for your time and consideration this evening."
Thank you. Ms. Allen.
I am Deanie Allen. Did you know that 50% of Humble ISD students are at risk? 50%. As a reading specialist, I have worked with this bottom 50% for years, actually for decades. I went to the Curriculum and Reading Committee meeting on February 23rd. After the meeting, Mr. Scarfo spoke with me. "Well, I have to listen to the experts." And he motioned to the administrators who spoke, the experts who spoke favorably about Bluebonnet. These so-called experts, no SMEs, no subject matter experts, no one in the reading department is a reading specialist. No one has an advanced degree in literacy. Recently, these experts sang the praises of 3Qing. These experts watched the scores decline. And you know what? These experts said nothing. They said nothing. And then, you know what happened? They got promoted. These experts chose MAP testing. MAP testing says this student is low in reading. MAP does not tell the teacher how to help the student or what to do. Lots of money for testing that does not align with STAR. This is like going to the doctor. Yes, Miss Allen, you are sick. Well, Doc, what should I do? Yep, you're sick. Don't know. I spent hours reviewing Bluebonnet. I looked for lessons for our bottom 50%. We are required by law to address struggling students and special ed students. I looked for lessons to help our students who speak another language at home, who speak poor English, but they have very poor vocabulary, very poor language. What did I find in Bluebonnet for these students? Well, I really looked. Not much. A few lines here, a few comments there. I actually asked the head of reading. She said, oh, well, if you look right here, she pointed to 3 short sentences to help kindergartners understand about community helpers. 3 short sentences. Bluebonnet will not help our bottom 50%. When I looked at Harcourt HMH reading, there are outstanding focus lessons to develop language, to reteach skills, to give the bottom 50% the skills they need for understanding. Right now, the reading department does not reflect success. If you want scores to improve, hire competent people, certified in literacy, with experience and a proven track record.
Now moving on to comments by individual board members. We will begin with Mrs. Shaw.
All right. Thank you again for all the public comments. Just a shout out to the Summer Creek girls for basketball. Just another great win. This is their 2nd year, so just a shout out to them, and then hopes for Atascocita basketball. I also want to say today was the integrated sports, and I think that went really well. As well as just CTE month has been such an exciting time just to see not only just CTE programs on our campuses, but new programs coming up on our campuses. So I just want to, if you haven't had a chance to look at that, go to their different campus websites and click on the CTE button and look at all the different programs that we're offering right now across all of our high schools and all of our programs, all the way down to middle school. So.
I'll be a gentleman, Mrs. Parker, with ladies.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. I just cannot tell the Summer Creek girls basketball how proud we are of them for their twice winning state. It's just absolutely incredible, and we are just so absolutely proud and thrilled with those girls. Does anybody know the Atascocita score?
I'll be able to tell you in just
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. I wanted to thank the CTE awareness speaker. That was wonderful. We lost on February 25th a 25-year board member, Dr. Bonnie Lanyon. Dr. Lanyon handed me my diploma when I graduated from Kingwood High School. I would drive back from college to work on her campaign, and worked on every campaign, I think, every time she ran. She was a dedicated leader in education. She served as president of this board. She was very, very, very involved in TASB and always wanting to help other trustees and other board members grow as individuals. You could talk to her about anything. You could ask her any question about board work, and she loved talking about board work in education. She was the president of TASB at one time, actually. She worked for Lone Star College for over 25 years, and her passion was bringing students into their careers. She was just an absolutely wonderful human, wonderful individual. And we were able to name the Elm Grove Multipurpose Room after her before she passed. And so she knew that. But her funeral will be on this Saturday at 11:30 at Kingwood Funeral Home. But, you know, just keep the family in your prayers. She was just a wonderful, wonderful person and a great asset to this district for many, many, many years. Thank you.
Mr. Scarfo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just quick, because I know we have a lot on the agenda. It was a great couple of weeks. The high school integrated athletics events last week and today, the middle school. They're always so much fun, and they really, really warm your heart to see our athletes out there and all the student volunteers. These are at Turner, so it's usually the Humboldt High School football team, and they get as much kick out of it, you could just tell watching them, as the kiddos who are our athletes performing. So it's just a great combination, and all the ESS staff that help make these things happen all of the time. Last Saturday, Battle of the Books, one of my favorite events across the district. That's always great to watch those kids answer those questions like they're on TV, man, and they slam that thing down and they compete, and it's great. It's fun. And I love when they challenge the judges. That's my favorite part of it, because most of the time they're right. And then I guess a couple weeks back, we had the UIL A+ competitions, and the finals are coming up. Dr. Euchre, is that next week or 2 weeks? After the break. Okay, that'll be great to see the culmination of that. You talk about competition. That's some more great competition. There was the middle school robotics. I think it was last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago. I kind of lose track here, but I know I just enjoy going. A couple of manners lunches that some of us got to go to over the last couple, 3 weeks. So I'll leave it at that, but just a lot of fun stuff going on, seeing our kiddos out there doing so much, and also our staff, especially on these Saturdays. They're giving up their time. They could be a lot of other places, but they're there with our kids doing these events and making them happen, whether it's robotics, whether it's UIL, A+, all those things. They're putting their time in, and it's really, we should appreciate that greatly. And Mr. Kirchhoffer's not here this evening. Unfortunately, his mom was hospitalized this afternoon, so I'm going to read a comment he had asked that he wanted to make today. So I will read that for him. And if you're so inclined, I'd ask you keep his mom in your prayers for a quick healing and resolution to the problem. So anyway, this is about our state wrestling champ. This February, Humboldt High School junior Sean Perez defeated Rockwall Heath's Cody Savage 12-5 to win the Class 6A 190-pound state championship during the 2026 UIL Wrestling State Tournament. Sean finished the season with a perfect record of 52-0. Sean is also the first ever boy to win a UIL Wrestling State title in Humboldt ISD history. And I think that was on the website when Ms. Mount's group put it there. Big congratulations to Sean Perez on this historic moment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Can you go ahead and read Mr. Kirchhoffer's statement while you're... Oh, you did? Oh, that was it. Okay. Okay, that was it. Okay. Mr. Grabowski. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Attended the spelling bee. It seems like it's a while ago now because we didn't make public comments at the last meeting. And the winner, and I hope I get your name right, Vihanch Ervind. And thank you, Jamie, for helping with that. As Creekwood Middle School 7th grader, they had a warm-up round, and then I'm guessing it went 11 or 12 rounds till we had one winner. And I was eliminated in the warm-up round.
So was I.
Yeah. That is for sure. And again, like everybody said, back-to-back Summer Creek girls, way to go. That's just incredibly. But I want to say some things about the junior ROTC program, mostly tonight. Summer Creek Junior ROTC, after competing against more than 5,000 teams from around the world, 4 cadets from Summer Creek High School, Joaquin Quenshaw, Michael Ogunfile, Kennedy Frenza, and Jason Fahm, have earned a place at the 2026 Junior ROTC Leadership and Academic Bowl in Washington, D.C. The Junior ROTC Leadership and Academic Bowl, a nationally recognized competition sponsored by the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force, and Coast Guard, and organized by the College Options Foundation, challenges junior ROTC cadets to demonstrate leadership and academic excellence. So Major Woodburn and Master Sergeant Hernandez, great job. And to those 4 cadets, they're going to Washington to compete at a national level. That is just somewhat outstanding news, in my opinion. We just recently, with a lot of work from Sergeant Mario Rodriguez and Dr. Melissa Lee and all 10 of the cadre, we held our first Commander's Cup, where all of the 5 high schools competed against each other in ROTC. And the events were a Wildcat Run, a Panther Relay, a Bulldog Challenge, Eagle Challenge, Tug of War, and an obstacle course. And won handily by Summer Creek, winning 5 of the 6 first place awards. Kingwood High School did win the obstacle course, but all the cadets were winners, and it was a lot closer than that final score. And if you want to support and see something cool, you know, these kids are up. Some of them, I asked them, what time did you get up today to be here? They're getting up at 5:30 on a Saturday morning to do an obstacle course. How cool are these kids? And the cadre that motivates them. It is just good stuff, in my opinion. Still got two more things to go. The color guard tonight, there was something very unique about it. When I was in the military, I flew fighters, and it was all guys. I want to tell you about the color guard tonight. Cadet Lillianne Youngblood, right rifle. Cadet Sophia Alvarado, U.S. flag commanding the color guard. Cadet Noah Nepper and Cadet Adelaide McCarty, 3 out of 4 women. That is pretty cool how far our country has come. So if you have a daughter at home or you have a granddaughter and you're trying to guide them for the leadership and the camaraderie and the character skills that our 10 cadre will instill in your children, doesn't matter the gender, it is unmatched. We have such amazing, amazing cadre. I then did 2 things that I want to talk about. I went to the Kingwood High School inspection. Their pass and review was amazing. It's when all of the cadets create a parade and come walking right in front of you. And then I went to the Humble High School inspection this last week. Their color guard and their company march of their 13 cadets, all 3 of those events, the Kingwood High School pass and review, the color guard from Humble High School, as well as their company march, which are 13 cadets who do specialized marching, I say they matched, if not exceeded, and I went to a military academy. They're that good. If you want to go see how much work these kids put into something and how much our cadre invests in these young men and women, do yourself a favor. Just go to one inspection. You'll be taken back at just what our children can do, our youth that we're responsible for. They did so good at Humble, led by, are you able to stand, Sergeant Major Watkins? I know you just got a new knee. There he is, and right next to him, Master Sergeant Wells. 2 of the 3 are here. Now, how dedicated are those 2? We have 2 weeks since your new knee, and you're hobbled right around through it all, and you were right there for your kids, and believe me, they noticed that, and that was leadership by example. I was so proud to see you out there, so thank you. They did so well that their last inspection, they got a 96.4. You got this time a 98.25. It is impossible to increase by that much. That's how well you're doing next time around. Their color guard or their unit got the Honored Unit of Distinction Award, and therefore the Army Gold Star that's worn as we all know what the Army symbol with that little gold star, that they earn the Army Gold Star as the top award. So I just find it so amazing what they all do. If you can hear my voice and you are a retired Marine and you're at home or you're watching this 3 days from now or 5 days from now and you're interested in teaching at Atascocita High School Marine Corps ROTC, Junior ROTC, please contact Dr. Lee, contact me or anybody up here. We'd love to have you. We're 1 cadre member short at Atascocita High School for Marine. I don't know if you know it, but I love our Junior ROTC. So thank you, President Holmes. I'm off my soapbox now.
Mr. Silva.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be very, very brief. First of all, thank you again to all our public commenters, especially the students. I will say, as someone that has stood at that podium many times, I got nervous, very nervous, so I don't know how you all did it, but great job to the students that talked. I'll repeat, congrats to the Summer Creek Lady Bulldogs. Like back-to-back in 6A, we were talking about that yesterday. Absolutely impressive. Last but not least, quick reminder to my colleagues and the public, Atascocita Shattered Dreams is this Thursday. It's a great program, again, that's supposed to help portray the effects of underage drinking. We use local law enforcement, emergency response vehicles. So that's this Thursday. The time is escaping me. I apologize. I'll bring it up in my comments at the end. That's no problem. But that's all I got for today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, just a few things, and I will get out of your way. yes, CT awareness, our theater team, glad to have you. Ms. Cox, it is difficult just coming up here to speak, so again, thank you for that. Dr. Lanyon, prayers to her family. I never had a chance to formally meet her, but I heard she was an outstanding board member, did a lot for this district, and I think people sometimes forget this is volunteer work, and she volunteered her soul to this position, and just grateful that we have people like her that want to see this district continue to get better. I think I can express and echo the comments of the board members, the spelling bee. I was a fifth grade champ. It was the word, I think it was onomatopoeia. I thought third grade, onomatopoeia is a simple word. Fifth grade was a little harder. I lost out in the second round, but again, spelling bee, all the participants, just super, super proud of you. I wasn't here and I wasn't able to attend our counselor, so Mrs. Hobbs, I really wanted to be there. I was down there in Galveston last year. I would have been up there in Fort Worth when you guys were recognized again, and I believe you increased it. You guys are doing outstanding work, and I just want to say to your team, I wish I could have been here. I wasn't even for the awards recognition day. So again, thank you. Please tell your counselors they're so necessary, and again, just thank you. All right. I also want to say thank you to last month's board meeting participants. It was a marathon. Some of you that were here, I think we got out at 10:45 p.m. To our administration, Dr. Brown, you really have taken to heart getting us focused back on academics and student achievement. To your deputy superintendents, to Billy with the finance, everybody involved. It is just great to see those scores going up and to the right. To our principals, our APs, I really appreciate the work that you have put in such a short amount of time in terms of what we're asking you. I just want to say thank you. And to our teachers who are the feet on the street, they're the ones that have to put this into effect. To the support staff that is supporting them, to our specialists, to our paras, I just want to say thank you because last month's board meeting was, it was super exciting and fulfilling. And it just showed how much we can do in such short amount of time, and when we really put our minds to it, what we can accomplish. So I just want to say thank you. I really do. I really appreciate you guys. Dr. Siebert, I don't want you to forget, even though you're a sneakerhead like me, I want to say this. You walk a lot of hallways, and we have some of the most beautiful facilities. Whenever I go to a Region 4 meeting, or now some of these TASB meetings, they talk about the architectural monstrosities that our schools are. And again, I just appreciate all that you and your team do as well. So just thank you. Thank you to the team, Dr. Brown. You got a great team. That being said, first and foremost, I'm waiting for some more hardware. And I'm not talking about a server or a phone. I'm talking about another ring. Our Summer Creek girls basketball team, I bought last year's ring and I wore it as a sign of good luck, and we took it. So I can't wait to order that second ring for our state championship. So again, really congratulations to our Summer Creek girls basketball. To repeat a second time is amazing, and I think that they actually can three-peat. They got a good squad coming back and a great coach and a great coaching staff. So again, that's all I have. That's all I have. Dr. Brown.
Well, picking up on Summer Creek, Dr. Manning, we have a parade and a party tomorrow night, I understand, for the Summer Creek girls basketball. 5:30? Yes, sir. All right, so make your way out to Summer Creek High School and we can celebrate that championship.
Absolutely.
Home. So that'll be great. Here in just a little bit, you have a proclamation on Theater in Our Schools Month, and I had an opportunity, as Ms. Parker did as well. We attended Riverwood's performance at the Holocaust Museum this morning, and it was incredible. And so we have such a great fine arts program, be it theater or music programs. In fact, coming over here, there was an art show at the administration building. And so just the work in our fine arts department, our athletics department, our academics, and that's a compliment to all the work that these individuals do out here. And so thanks to them and to you all for your support. We have a lot to be proud of here in Humboldt ISD. And so
And I understand next week's spring break, unless we want to cancel it and just keep going because we're doing so well. Yeah, we're on a good roll. No, next week's spring break, we hope everybody has fun with their family and has an opportunity to enjoy that time off. And we'll see everybody back after spring break. And then it's the stretch to the end of May.
One last shout out. I also forgot we have a great media team. So again, just want to say thank you. You got a great team. They are everywhere across the state taking pictures and filming videos. So again, thank you. Again, if I missed anybody, know it's from the heart that I missed you, and I apologize. But again, just great team, Dr. Brown. They're excited. They're exciting things. Yes, ma'am.
I thought we were keeping it brief, but one of the things I was going to talk about was the thing that goes unnoticed with CTE. There's a lot of people in our CTE department, and this is something that kind of it comes back to me over and over again, that do a volunteer service. You've got the tiny home programs. They work above and beyond their time, right? You've got HOSA, you've got DECA, you've got the automotive group, you've got the culinary group. I mean, you can go on and on and on. But a lot of these teachers, it's not in their every 8 to 5 job, right? They are working extra on a Saturday. They're going to competitions. They're going to meetings. They're staying after school. I don't think they get paid for any of that extra time. They're doing this because they want to see students succeed. So as we celebrate CTE month, we also celebrate those teachers who tirelessly work. And then we also have 3, I think we've got some HOSA students going to nationals, and I don't know what the number is. And then we've got Summer Creek has an international student going to DECA, and then Atascocita High School has a student going to internationals as well. And then we had, I think, over 20 top 10 qualifiers for a program that just started 3 years ago. So, and I know in HOSA we have about 25 or more going. So that just shows you, I mean, these kids are going and competing, and they're leaving Humble ISD and representing us well. So
And one thing I would add to that, we're a public school.
we're a public school. That's right. We competed, I mean, I was at the DECA competition. I forget where I'm at a lot of times, but we competed against the Summer Creek category. I'm just going to brag on them really quick. They competed against, I think, schools that either had 1,500 students in the program and have been programs that have been around for like 30 years. So, just.
Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that. Moving on to our next agenda item, action items from closed session. Item 4A, personnel recommendations. Mr. Silva, do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. President. I move to approve the administration's personnel recommendations as presented in closed session with addendum.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Vote passes unanimously, 7-0. 6-0. Moving to item 5, our consent agenda. Does any trustee have any item they wish to pull from the consent agenda? Yes, Mr. Scarfo.
I'd like to pull L.
All right. Mr. Silva, do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Yes, Mr. President. I move to approve consent agenda items 5A through 5P exclusive of pulled item 5L.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, vote passes unanimously. Pulled items. Returning to any pulled items. Our first pulled item was item 5. I believe it was L. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. President. I move to adopt the proclamation as presented declaring March 2026 as Theater in Our Schools Month.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes,
Yeah,
Mr. Scarfo.
Mr. Holmes, the reason I pulled it is it was buried in the consent agenda, but I just think we ought to acknowledge, and we have representatives from theater here, and I won't read the whole proclamation, but just the last paragraph where it says, "Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Board of Trustees of Omaha ISD, do hereby proclaim March 20, 2006 as Theater in Our Schools Month, and on behalf of the district, hereby urge all citizens to celebrate theater programs and the students that participate in them as we work toward a better future for this important part of student education. So just want to acknowledge, would you young ladies stand up just one more time and give us a wave? And thank you for all you do. Thanks, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Scarfo. Any other? All right. All those in favor? All right. Vote passes unanimously, 6-0. Item 6A, approval of new materials for library acquisitions. Mr. Silva, would you please read the motion?
Yes, Mr. President. I move to approve the recommendation of the School Library Advisory Committee to add the list of 40 new library materials for library acquisitions minus D. Grayman Volumes 22, 23, 24 by Hoshino and Furyborn by Legrand.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Scarfo.
I would like to, sorry. The motion is to approve the recommendation of the advisory committee, and is it just the, so I understood it that the approval was going to be for both parts, but that's not how the motion read. Because they had the original public posting and then the amended list adding to that in the motion for approve. So do we not, if we don't have to separate them, then that's fine, because that's what I wanted to amend, to separate them. Counselor,
There's no requirement that they be separated in the motion. So if the motion is both of them together, that's appropriate.
okay, but here's what I don't understand, though. If we wanted to approve the original public posting, which was, gosh, it must have been 30 pages of materials we have already purchased, and I understand if you look at the breakdown of the committee, the Library Advisory Committee, for that group, there was, it was voted 15-1. So nobody seemed to have an issue with the large batch. And my understanding with the way the motion was that it was two pieces. It was the large batch. Dr. Lee, you can help out if you'd like. And then there was the supplementary batch of 42 books, which was reduced to 40. Am I missing that?
So I apologize if it wasn't clear in the way I wrote the motion, sir. So the original posting was on there because the large list of multiple pages that you mentioned was originally posted on December 2025. The committee in January pulled 42 books out of that, and you approved the rest of the list already. So the original posting you approved minus the 42 books back in January. This list was the 42. We, the administration, removed the 2 books that Mr. Silva mentioned, and then the committee split the vote into 2, with 15 books being that we already owned in the district, but were just new ISBNs, and then the remainder of the list. So you are correct, the committee did split this list of 42 into 2 pieces, but since both came out with the majority vote to move it forward, I put them into one motion. So I apologize if that was confusing the way I wrote that.
Okay, well, I think you confused me even more then. So with the vote, the 15-1 vote, how many books were we talking about? You're talking about just the 42?
Yes, can I give something to the board real quick that might make it clearer? I made it a different version that might help.
Okay.
So this list, the ones that we owned previously, so you can see how the committee split it. Which wasn't on the public posting, I apologize.
You had sent this to us today.
I have the split list on it that said which ones we own. I just want to make sure.
Oh, okay.
In the third
Okay.
column.
I got you.
The third column wasn't.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So,
Oh, these were the ones we-
so when they voted 15-1, they were voting 15-1 for the ones that we owned?
Correct. So that's why I added the third column there, right? The 15-1 vote for them was the third column of the ones that we already own in the district, and then the separate list was the remainder minus the 2 that the administration removed.
Okay. All right, so then I'll just change the motion this way then. I'd like to amend the motion, Mr. President, that we approve the, and Dr. Lee, was it where the vote was 15-1, how many books was that?
It was 15, I believe, in the
15?
column that we own in
Okay.
Humble ISD already, sir.
So I would like to make the motion that we approve the recommendation of the School Library Advisory Committee for the 15 books that the district already owns, as opposed to the amendment that was read, which was the entire 40 books.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor? Oh, yes, Mr. Grabowski.
There's a couple reasons why I'm in favor of breaking these up also. When I spoke to people that were on the library council, they seem to get bogged down. It's a new committee. And so any new group is going to have its growing pains, any new group. And they got bogged down a lot in trying to figure out Robert's rules, not this Robert. They're very complicated when you start out. They're very new to many of them, and they're trying to sort through it. And most of their time was involved around the administrivia versus actually debating the books. The four that I spoke to said less than 10 minutes was left, and so we felt they were rushed. And so they're going to end up getting this back so they can look at the books. And the vote was very close, 9-7. So it's pretty unclear, in my opinion, which way to go with that close of a vote. So, thank you.
But, hold on one second. Didn't the SLAC committee already have this list, though, before coming into that meeting? So they did have some prep time, or did they not have?
Yes,
Yes.
they had the list, correct.
They've had it, and how long did they have that list for?
I mean, the original posting went up December 5th, 2025. They pulled it on January 8th, I want to say, to separate it into the smaller group. And then we gave them additional information on each book, and if we already owned the book, which is separate, we did bring copies of them for review as well.
Okay.
We had librarians available as well for them to talk to.
So they had a little bit more time than just what was reflected there. I mean, they had about a month and a half to look. They had about a month and a half to look at that.
That sounds about right time, but
Yeah.
they did not have a lot of discussion time, that is
Okay.
accurate.
Yeah, and that's the point. And that's my concern, too, when the vote's that close. I'd like to have a little more color as to why almost half felt that in this batch of 25, because we got from 42 to 40, and then you take the 15 out, we're talking about 25 books. I'd really like to understand if the almost 50% of the group who voted against approving them, was it the whole 25, or was it just 5? Was it somewhere in between? And you can't really tell us that just yet. And so the next step, if we vote on this amendment, if it passes, then fine. Then I was going to request, Mr. President, that we table or ask that the balance, the 25 books, go back, and the committee can come back and tell us why, how many, because maybe we approve 20 if it's only 5 of the 25, or we approve all of them. But I'd like to understand, I just hate when it's that close to have people feel they weren't heard. Just because, well, it passed 9-7, so just do it. And maybe one of the things we need to talk about is, in the committee, is that the policy is changed. Counselor, maybe you could help do this, where you can go back and poll if after the fact.
Yes, sir. I have talked to the chair, and we will poll for any future votes going forward, so you have more information. We will do that moving
Yeah,
forward.
because that's the key, is that we have information
Absolutely.
we're making, we have to raise our hands at the end of the day, and I would just like to understand it. And, if those 7 people felt all 25 of those books were terrible, I'd like to know that, and why. Or if they say, well, there's only 4 out of the 25, and, okay. So that's where I was going with this. So I guess we got to finish and deal with the amendment first, and then we can
Okay.
talk about the rest.
Mrs. Parker. Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Mr. Holmes, I'm not feeling the love. The other thing I'd like to point out is some of the committee members were added later and did not have time to review the materials, or as much time as some of the committee members. And so I just think that we need to I agree with my 2 colleagues that we just need to table it, let them have the time that they need, and I'm in complete agreement with you guys.
Mr. Silva, do we have a motion?
Okay, so we're voting on Mr. Scarfo's amendment that was seconded by you, right? Ms. Parker, which is we're moving to approve the recommendation of the School Library Advisory Council for the library materials already owned by the district and send the remaining 25 materials not owned by the district back to the SLAC for additional review.
Yes. Any discussion? I believe we're all good there. All right. All those in favor? All right. Vote passes unanimously, 6-0. Moving on to our next agenda item.
Let me pause you. We approved the amendment.
That's
Now we need to pass the motion as amended. All right. So at this point, I move to approve the recommendation of the School Library Advisory Council for the library materials already owned by the district and send the remaining 25 materials not owned by the district back to the SLAC for additional review as amended.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Vote passes unanimously, 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Silva. Next is our information item. Item 7A, Intruder Detection Audit Report. Mr. Perkins.
Sir, the Texas School Safe Center conducted an intruder detection audit pursuant to legal requirements. 5 schools were reviewed since the last board meeting and no findings.
I'm going to say it again. Thank you. I like that. I like that. Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Item 7B, update board associations and committees. The first committee is the Advocacy Committee. Mrs. Parker.
Our next meeting will take place on the 25th, as soon as we get back from spring break with Commissioner Ramsey.
We'll bypass Audit Committee unless one of his co-chairs or Mr. Kirchhoffer is Audit Committee. No? All right. Building and Planning Committee, Mr. Scarfo.
No report. We have a meeting Friday, 11:30. In this room? We bounce around, so the public knows. So it's in the admin, the boardroom, not the collaboration center. Thank you.
All right. Curriculum Committee, Mrs. Shaw.
Yeah, we have been meeting, and we've had a lot of different meetings, but our curriculum committee is working pretty hard. So I will say that they have had a series of meetings this year, and then we have a meeting coming up in March. Karen, what was the date that we agreed on? It's in a couple weeks. That's okay. It's, yeah.
I don't recall.
Scheduling. Yes, there's one in the works, and I know our curriculum committee is meeting to give us a good update on where the committee has come out, so.
That's fine. That's fine. Finance Committee, that is myself. We had a Finance Committee, I believe, and again, keep me honest, Mrs. Martin, I think roughly 3 weeks ago, here recently, Mr. Silva. Mr. Beatty and his team are working extremely hard, trying to, again, keep everything afloat. Again, we are just a great district with some really good fiscal management. And again, we need to schedule that next meeting. But again, Mr. Beatty, I just want to say I think we still have what we would call as A-rated paper. I believe we talked about last meeting the ChatGPT, that rollout. And again, thank you for availing yourself, you and your team, on that. I'm also very excited about the release of the initial stages of our dashboard, which is what is going to be readily available for us to actually look at scores of the district by school in real time. So again, I'm very excited about that as well. So again, good stuff going on. Mr. Grabowski for Safety Committee.
I don't talk in public about safety purposely because we just want to keep what we're doing private. But you all, eyes and ears, are part of it. Everybody is charged with safety. So if there's ever something you see, contact me. via email, my phone, I don't care. We have an amazing police department. You could talk to any other trustee, Dr. Brown, anybody in admin, people that are watching this at home. We need everybody to keep our eyes out. The world is not getting safer, but collectively, we work together at safety.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Superintendent evaluation, I think the only update that I have there is that Dr. Brown and his team have done a really remarkable job, again, in a very short amount of time. When you talk about superintendent evaluation, it's based on the main component, which is student scores, student success. And again, I look at it, as long as that thing is trending up and to the right, overall as a district, I really appreciated the work put into last month's board meeting. So there's the evaluation. There's a book that I really like by Jocko Willink called Extreme Ownership. And Dr. Brown has taken on the mantle of extreme ownership in terms of he understands the weight that is on his shoulders as well as his team. And again, Dr. Brown, appreciate your nimbleness, having the extreme amount of pressure on you by this board, but still keeping the personality that you have in dealing with us, along with the community. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, and I say a lot to my dog when we're walking.
I bet you do.
So if you just don't ever talk to my dog. No, I'm just kidding. But really, thank you for that. But I really just want to compliment the team, everyone. The high school principals are over here, and all of the principals and the staff. They really make it happen.
Absolutely.
So thank you all for your assistance and support and direction, and to the team.
Thank you. All right, Technology Committee.
Nothing new to report. We met yesterday. So we talked about cybersecurity and status update on devices. Thank you to the team, Dr. Brown and Dr. Brown's team. And we've really pushed them to make sure that there's Chromebook access, device access out there, and they've done a tremendous job. We'll talk more about that going forward.
Yes, sir. Education Foundation.
Also me. Okay, Foundation preparing for the Boots and Bling Gala. We recognize Teachers of the Year. Top 10 finalists announce the winner. So we hope you'll join us for a night of food, celebration, games, dancing, and more. It's Friday, April 10th at Stampede Houston. The tickets are, you can buy them on the Foundation's website. They support grants given back to Humble ISD teachers. On that note, the Foundation's Innovative Educator Grant application closed last month. The grant review team is busy reading through the amazing ideas our teachers have submitted, and Prize Posse Day is on May 1st. And last but not least, we had a fantastic time at Portillo's in Humble at the sneak peek last month. The foundation was chosen as the charity of their choice. More than 1,000 attended the sneak peek with an opportunity to get a free entree and cake and donate to the foundation. And between the lunch and dinner hours, the foundation raised $3,123 thanks to our generous community. The foundation was presented a check at their ribbon cutting for $8,123, and we look forward to partnering with them going forward. That is it.
All right. Any questions or discussion from the board regarding these items? All right, moving on to item 7C, Humble ISD Police Department's 2025 Racial Profiling Report. Any questions from the board regarding this item? Moving on to item 70, High School Spring Mock Assessment Results and CCMR Progress Update. Any questions from the board regarding this item? Oh, we have a presentation, yeah. We'll have questions. No, it's okay. It's
And
okay.
I think you can see the team coming up, and Melissa Hayhurst is going to start us off.
I thought I heard we could all go home.
It's not till 10:30
That's
today.
what I
Not
heard.
till
No,
10:30
sir.
today.
No, sir, I promise you that.
promise.
And I think because, quite honestly, last month was about laying the foundation, right? And making sure that we're establishing common vocabulary. So while last month we focused on elementary and middle school, and I love Mr. Holmes every time you said up and to the right, I'm going to say to my Director of Secondary Instruction, Lisa McCorkadell, we need to give Mr. Holmes new language so that we have something for high school mock as well. But what we're going to do tonight are two things. We want to share with you our high school mock data that was administered just recently. And then Dr. Lee is going to come up with members from her team to talk about college career military readiness update, which I know, again, these are both markers that you have been waiting for. And so with that, let's see if I am. Okay. There we go. And so I've already talked about, these are the two pieces. These are both, as you are aware, the difference with high school accountability, unlike elementary and middle, which are relying primarily or almost solely on STAR. High school is different, and it's different because of the kind of kid we're talking about. Elementary, they're beginning their careers educationally, and high school, we are moving them on to whatever their next opportunity, whether it's the armed forces, whether it's college, whether it's career. And so it only makes sense that we're looking at multiple measures and not just at a STAR or an end of course exam. And so with that, I want to turn it over to Lisa McCorkadell, again, as I said, my Director of Secondary Curriculum and Instruction, and she is going to walk you through the high school mock data that is divided into our core content. So, Ms. McCorkadell?
Hi, good evening. Before I begin, I do want to give you guys an update that we sent y'all some data last week on Friday. That data has been updated because as we talk through this mock data, you'll see that we collected data through last week. The testing is recent. And so we wanted to be transparent with the most up-to-date information. So some of the data you'll see handed to you and tonight is slightly different, mostly with increases, but slightly different than what you received on Friday. And Mr. Holmes, the thing we'll be looking for tonight will be for the right bar to have go higher or meet the left bar, but we'll get to that. Okay. So just as a reminder, we did a small teach piece on the mock last month, but it was like 10:30. These are early indicators of instructional effectiveness, but they are not intended to represent end-of-year mastery because, as I stated, we took these late February and the first week of March last week. So all of the material has not been taught for some of our content areas. Specifically, our algebra, biology, and U.S. history all have about 20% of their curriculum still to be taught. English 1 and 2, they have reached 100%. They do that during the fall semester, and then they spend spring semester deepening their understanding. So we have 3 different data views that we're going to go through tonight. The first one is the district overall by content. Then we will have district overall by the content with some of our subgroups. You have more information in your packet of other subgroups. We have 3 of them that we'll display tonight. And then last will be the campus by content. All 3 will be using our STAR from last year, STAR 25, as a comparison. That will be on the left, and we're looking at the bar on the right. So first, we're going to look at the district overall performance by content areas. So that you know what you're looking at, because this is a lot to take in all in one view. As I mentioned, STAR 2025 is on the left, and then on the right is our mock information. The purple indicates our approaches, blue indicates meets, and green is our masters. If I can draw your eye down to English 1 for an example, these 2 bars, the one on the left in purple is the 25 EOC data, and the 26 is our mock data. So as you can see in this example, as a district overall, we have shown growth when it comes to English 1 as a district. Oops, sorry. Also English 2, you will see growth as a district there. I do want to remind you for the other 3 contents, we have material left to teach. but I do want to point out the overall high data for both biology and U.S. history. In general, for performance on EOC and our contents, we are wanting our campuses and as a district to reach 90 for approaches, and we did last year for STAR and right now for mock. We are hoping to get to 60 for meets, and we have met that as well. And for masters, the goal is generally to get to 30. We have a little bit of room to grow there with biology, but we're on our way. The next series of slides show the content by some of our subgroups. You're going to see growth overall through all of these. First, we have English 1, English 2. This one particularly is showing improvement in approaches and meets.
Ms. McCorkle?
Yes.
McCorkle, I'm sorry, said your name wrong. So what's the gap between the slide you have up right now? So you see on the mock, it's about at 83. Is that the total universe for that particular, for English 2?
Yes. So the very first set of bars are all students for the entire district.
Right.
That's there for your comparison.
So what happened to the other, so you see, it's hard to add these you can't just add these up. Because you got, the approaches is higher than last year, but at the same time, the meets is higher as well, but masters is the same. I guess I'm having a little trouble with my little brain to reconcile
Sure.
what that really means. And are there people students missing in the chart?
So the first measure you're going to want to look at is from the approaches, the purple. Those are all the students who have approaches, and the students not, for the rest of that, what is that, 17%? Those did not meet. The other students, both the meets and the masters, they roll into each other.
That's where the missing, so you
Yes.
don't have that shown, yeah.
That's right. We do
Didn't
not
meet,
have the
is it-
do not meet on there.
That's the default. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. Okay. Okay, good. Just in time to talk about Algebra 1. We have flatlined a little bit here. We even have a couple of drops. But once again, reminding we actually have 22% of our TEKS from when this was taking in general until they will take the STAR. So that 25 EOC was an April assessment, and this mock was February for many of our campuses. Okay, so biology is higher in all three subpops in meets and masters. So that's particularly important because we're growing them in approaches, but then we're also pulling as they say, pulling the thread along to grow them in further measures of meets and masters. Finally, we have U.S. history. We have pockets of growth here. And again, about a fifth of the curriculum, modern America, still to teach. So our last data view is our campuses overall, and these are each campus with their contents. First, we have Atascocita High School. One thing to note with Atascocita is that their meet scores on STAR last year and this mock are pretty high. What that means for us is that we're going to want to focus some of the work there on closing the gap between meets and masters. For Humble High School, you'll see remarkable growth in the majority of our contents. Kingwood High School, you may recall that Kingwood received a distinction last year in ELA, and they are continuing the work in ELA this year as well, it would appear. Speaking of distinctions, K Park received one in science, and they too are continuing growth in science. Here we have Summer Creek. Here they have another state championship. And in addition to that, they have overall growth trends with significant work in their English 2 and approaches and meets. U.S. history is an amazing little bundle. They have about 120 TEKs. So when I say they have about a fifth left, that's 20-something TEKs. They have 10 units that they cover broken up for the assessment. They have not yet taught or covered units 9 and 10. So that's basically from the 70s to now. Lastly, we have Sconzo Early High School. And this one, you'll note particular growth in masters with our 9th grade subjects of both English 1 and biology. When it comes to this data, I would say that our strengths include overall growth trends, but we do have challenges to continue the work. We're doing all right with our meets, but really pushing towards the masters. Dr. Hicks?
Good evening, members of the board. To go along with this, I think that there's some valuable information that you may want to hear from some of our campus leaders, specifically preparing students for EOC. There is a tremendous amount of work that goes into providing supports for students who are struggling to meet the passing standard, but as well as students who are already performing at a satisfactory level and then trying to achieve that next higher achievement level. So to provide some information, I'm going to ask our associate principal from Atascocita High School, Shelly Paquette Gomez, to come and speak. And then also I'm going to invite Courtney Peterson, our principal from Humble High School, to come and share some of the structures that are in place at their campuses.
Good evening. So some of the structures that we have in place this year at Atascocita is we've added intervention classes for algebra and English. That way those students that need retesting and, struggle a little bit more can get that extra support to retest and be successful again. We also have a math interventionist that comes 2 times a week that works with struggling students during the first semester, and now this semester she's coming back to work with students that are in that bubble area of getting from did not meet to approaches and approaches to meets and meets to masters. So we're really focusing in on that, and we also have the instructional coach and our district specialist working with those groups as well. So we're covering right now probably about 120 students a week and trying to push them further. We also, in English, we have 5 sections of intervention classes there where they are working with retesters to try to push and continue to help them master and get beyond that did not meet to approaches, at least. We also have put in data protocol planning where teachers have a planning day after a major mock assessment. For example, tomorrow I'm meeting with the biology team along with the assistant principal, and we're going to review the mock data and actually have an intense planning day to see what TEKs we need to work on and what students we need to look at. We also have those students, we look at individual students. Is this student moving forward? Did they move backwards, and why? And how can we help them? And students are also responsible for their data at Atascocita by filling out goal sheets so they know at the beginning of the year where they're starting, and then they know where they need to finish. So it really helps them take ownership in that data. And pretty much all the other subjects as well. Biology, we have a retester class, and we're also pulling students on Fridays for interventions that need to get that extra push to move on to approaches or meets or masters, and the same with U.S. history. Any questions for me?
So you're actually using data to drive the decisions?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
What a revelation.
Yes, yes, it helps.
How many, one last question, one question. Yes, ma'am. How many specialists are you using? How many do you need more support? I mean, is that enough? You said it's serving 120 students, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does the board need help?
I feel like that might be a trick question.
No.
So-
We are here now. Now, Mr. Beatty is winking at me like our budget is tight, but we're here to support you. We really are. If you had your druthers, that's what we're asking, right? What more
I
can
feel
be
like we have a great plan going in right now with where we're at. It was really getting that mock STAR data to make these decisions at this point to see where our students can actually be. Because we know with the fall block mock, it's not quite the same as a full-blown practice STAR. So this really gives us where we need to be. And so I think we have a really good plan going in of how we are going to push these kids to get to that next level. So, but I'm always willing to help, get some help if you're good at English, math,
Yes,
or.
ma'am. Note your
Okay.
question, I
Okay.
promise.
All right.
Just where can we help? Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Grabowski.
Ms. Peterson, thank you. 1 second. It's rare we have all 5 high school principals. But there's, safety to me is, if we're not safe, we're nothing. But man, this is number 1B. And we take this very, very serious, turning our grades around and the growth and all. So when you leave and you see the mock score, the real STAR scores come in and you analyze and at your school, if there's anything, and President Holmes was spot on, we take this really, really serious. We really want to help you. So there is no trick question. There is nothing other than a pure desire to help you as the campus principal do what's best for your kiddos.
100%.
So, thank you.
I appreciate that. If you ask me if I need anything, the answer will be yes. Whatever you want to give, we will take. I'm at Humble High School, and just to kind of piggyback on what Shelley was saying, the things that we do at Humble High School to help our kids, of course, do start with data. One of the things that we did started last summer, we wanted to be intentional with making sure that students were placed in courses and with teachers that would help them experience the growth and achievement that they needed. So for our students who were retesters for English 1 and English 2, we looked at the master schedule to say, hey, which teachers do they need to go with? Do they need to be in an additional intervention class? Do they need to be in writing strategies? Do they need to be in math strategies? So looking at the data that they have from the previous year, we were able to make choices before they got to campus on day 1 to know where they need to be so they can have that additional support. We also, for this semester in terms of intervention, started with making phone calls to parents and to those families to say, hey, we have this data from last year, we have this data from the fall semester, and we recognize that your student needs a little extra support. They are almost there. We need your support to help them with staying after school with us. We have teachers that stayed after, they called, they are having lessons that are targeted towards standards and towards the students that need those standards. They stay after for an hour and a half on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for English or on Wednesdays and Thursdays for math. And we bus them home, right? So there really isn't a reason for them to not be able to come. So we partner with the families to make sure that they are aware of what that data is, and we use all of our resources after school to plan targeted interventions. We also at Humble High School are blessed to be a Title I campus, right? So on our campus, we pull together the site-based decision-making committee and say, hey, with these title funds, what are we going to do to help remove barriers for kids? What are we going to do to make sure that they have the resources that they need to achieve? One thing that we were able to do was to partner with the consulting firm. It's the teacher's teacher. And they kind of do 2 things for us. One thing that they do is work with our teachers. Of course, we look at that data and we can say, hey, this is what the data is. But the question is, what do we do about that data to make sure that students are moving forward? So our teachers have great ideas for that. They have great resources for it. Teaching and learning helps out a lot with that. But the teacher's teacher helps us take that a step even further, right? So they trained our teachers in English 1, in English 2, and in Algebra 1 on going forward and going deeper with intervention. Here's our data. How can we respond to it? Here are some resources to do that. We spend a lot of time working with the teachers and that consulting firm to make that happen. Then we also said, hey, while you're here, if you're an extra team, let's take the people that you have on this team to make our groups for intervention smaller. So my teachers during the day are working with kids in Tier 1 instruction, and on days that we need to do intervention, that is happening as well. But the consultants will also take groups out of those classes. So instead of a class of 28 kids, I can split that into 2 smaller classes because we have folks here that are helping to make those teams smaller, right? Because the more hands we have on deck, if y'all want to join us, come on in. The more hands we have on deck, the more that we can make sure the kids get the targeted support and intervention that they need.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So for this portion of the presentation, I will invite back up Dr. Melissa Lee to talk about CCMR.
Before we get to that, Dr. Lee, you can come up. And Dr. Perry, you tell me who I should direct this question to. Maybe Ms. Hayhurst. There was a comment made about MAP testing as a way we diagnose problems, and it was claimed that it's really of no little value. But I thought last time we talked about that, you said they're not, you have to do some conversion, but it gets you to the right spot. Can you address that, the comment that was made? Because, and Counselor, tell me, I know it was out of a public comment, but this is an agenda item, right? So it is an agenda item that we can address? Okay, so I'd just like to know, and I'd like the public to know too, that why you guys feel that that's a good diagnostic tool.
Sure. So I want to take you back just very quickly because I know that, again, we don't want to be here till 10:30, but if you recall, before we adopted the MAP testing, that we had the literacy assessments, which were individualized assessments for every single student K through 5. And while that gave us incredible data, what we also heard overwhelmingly from our teachers is that it was very time consuming. And what we needed was a screener or a diagnostic, if you will, to help us funnel. Okay, so if you're an elementary campus that has 1,000 students, they're not all struggling readers. And what MAP provides us is the beginning of that funnel. So everyone takes MAP and it gives us preliminary data that helps us then to narrow down our focus on who needs support and who needs enrichment. And that freed up our teachers' time for Tier 1 instruction. We don't stop with just MAP. No, I don't disagree that MAP is not going to tell you what to target and how to target. That's when it requires the expertise of our teachers, in addition to our ASTs, in addition to our interventionists, to help then pinpoint the needs for the child who is struggling in reading or also in math, which is, remember, it serves both of those purposes. And so, again, it is a screener or a diagnostic. It is in no way going to be where we stop, it's where we start. I think the second thing that's really important here is that with MAP, we also are using MClass in grades K1 and 2 in K1, thank you, for reading to provide a deeper dive into where children are academically, whereas in math it starts in grades K through 5. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. I forgot about that. And so once we have MAP and we have that data and teachers are disaggregating, that data, then we do have the MAP fluency probes that provide them the opportunity to go deeper so that we measure about once every 2 weeks or so to see if they're making progress.
So, Mr. Scarfo, I'd like to add to that. I brought that slide back up that we had last time. If we're in the wrong for using it, then just let me list a few other districts that would have been in the wrong for using it as well. Katy ISD also use this. Cy-Fair ISD uses this. Klein ISD, Conroe, and Houston ISD. And I'm just going to stop right there. There are many others, but if those other districts value the use of this data as well, too.
Great. I just wanted to be clear why we're doing what we're doing. It's intentional. So.
I'd also like to add, Mr. Scarfo, since you called my name, that means come off the mic.
Oh, you're the chief, so of course.
I pulled up some information versus myth versus reality. So there are things that are commonplace as a myth. That MAP is not aligned to state standards is a myth. The reality is that MAP growth measures the same academic skill progressions students must master within the state standards. Research shows strong correlation between MAP and state assessments. A myth. MAP only tests students but does not help teachers know what to do next. The reality is that MAP provides detailed learning statements, skill progressions, and instructional groupings that help teachers identify specific next learning targets. Myth, MAP replaces the state assessment. No, MAP is diagnostic for growth and as a growth tool, while state assessments measure proficiency for accountability. They serve different but complementary purposes. MAP scores are just numbers. Reality, MAP scores connect directly to skill progression and instructional recommendations for reading and math development. Myth, MAP only benefits students who are already performing well. MAP measures growth for all students, including those below grade level, helping schools monitor intervention effectiveness. MAP is just another test. No, MAP provides actionable data used for instructional planning, MTSS screening, and monitoring student progress across the year.
Thank you. See, and that's why I like things to be addressed, because I don't like things to be said and then somebody may take it, oh, that must be true. Well, thank you. So I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, good evening. So my team and I are here to provide an update on college, career, and military readiness. Just as a reminder to the public, they covered this as well. For our high schools, 40% is EOC, 40% is CCMR, and 20% is graduation. I'm not going to really go over these. I put these in here just as reference slides, but these are all of the different indicators for college, career, and military readiness that the state uses for us as our guidelines. This is where we started. We came to you in October. We presented our 2025 data. Again, CCMR is a lagging indicator. So our 2025 accountability score was for the 23-24 school year, our seniors 2024. And obviously, there were areas that we are happy about, but there were several areas where we acknowledge that that is not where we need to be as a district. We've addressed it in the room before. Prior to the 24-25 school year, we weren't really doing anything extra with CCMR. We were using local indicators, not state indicators. With Dr. Brown's guidance and the board, we shifted that in the 24-25 school year, which we haven't gotten the full scores out yet from the state, but we do have projections. Dr. Sharita Wilson-Rogers, Dr. Roan, my team, Dr. Udicret, Mr. Wilson, we have all done the best we can to evaluate the data. So here's showing you some ranges of where we anticipate being when the 26 accountability comes out this year. So this lovely graph that was created by somebody much smarter than me in teaching and learning shows that in the 2025 accountability, the state average was an 82. So what you see on these slides that we're about to show here is that's the state average for 25. We were the green bars at that time. That's where we were at for accountability 2025 for the district and each of our high schools. Again, clearly not where we believe that we should be and not representative of our district. Our projected scores for 2026, and I would like to just remind everybody again, this is for the 24-25 school year under Dr. Brown's leadership. We really didn't start pushing this till January. So this is pretty much one semester. The ladies and gentlemen behind me here at the campuses are the ones who had to operationalize this very quickly. They did an amazing job working with all of their campus staff, and this is where we are projecting that we will be this year. Thank you. Yes, we are all very happy and very hopeful our projections are accurate.
And these don't have the full effect. the
Correct. There will
projections.
absolutely.
And that's what people need to understand, that because of that lag, we're getting about a half a year benefit, Mr. Burke, right, from what we talked about, when we was doing the planning. So the next year,
Our current year that we're working in
should
right now,
be-
correct. That is, you're going to see some data on the slides. I know both Dr. Udicret and Mr. Wilson are going to cover very specific things where we anticipate future growth for next year based on what we're doing this year because of that lagging indicator, absolutely. What you're seeing on here is done and over with. This is what we did last year in the 24-25 school year. Yes, Ms. Shaw?
Just a quick, because I don't think everybody knows, what are some of the 2 to 3 highlights in here that really put us over the edge?
I have that at the last slide. Can I save that?
Okay,
Is that
yes, you can.
Thank
Yes, okay.
please. I want to give them their full benefit first
Okay.
and then show that so I don't steal their thunder. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Udicret to dive into the college readiness a little bit deeper on this.
All right, if I could, good evening, Board of Trustees. I want to take us back to where we were just briefly, because when we talk about a comprehensive needs assessment related to college readiness, we wanted to see where were the areas we really needed to lean into. You can see that our district has been strong compared to the state related to AP, IB exams, dual credit coursework. And so we really needed to examine ourselves and say, okay, for college readiness, there's an opportunity for us related to TSI readiness, SAT, ACT, TSI, and using college prep courses. And so I want to set that context for us when we think about the work we were able to do and our campuses were able to do. And so when we look at college readiness, specifically in the area of college readiness in reading language arts or in English, this is where we're projecting us to be going into next accountability cycle. So you see all of our campuses have made significant gains in college readiness related to English. Again, that's measured by SAT, ACT, TSI A2, as well as our college prep courses. So when you look at the reason behind those gains, again, the SAT and ACT have been strong for us. What we did not take advantage of in the past was related to college prep courses. We knew that many of the surrounding districts in the state were utilizing these courses, and so we were able to lean in. Our amazing principals did a fabulous job in a short amount of time in being able to get our students college ready using these college prep courses. You can even see our Humble High School campuses capturing 53 to 56% of our students college ready in English language arts using our Texas College Bridge college prep course. That gives our students a college readiness indicator at over 105 institutes of higher education that they can take with them to enroll in college for the very first time.
I want to make sure I'm looking at this correctly. You're saying that 2025, our district across the board was a 0?
No, that's not
That is
true.
correct.
That's what I just, okay. And just with a little bit of rigor and focus, that's where we go. Projected range.
So, wait.
A lot of work by this group right here.
Believe me, I'm telling you, you know I give y'all all the credit.
Okay, but that.
I think sometimes it's breathtaking to me how, you know what, I'm not going to go there. I really appreciate the administration and our principals and everybody underneath you for being able to turn the ship, because we're in the business of students, and I'm going to leave it alone. But I think you know where I'm going. So again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
When you said that, I mean, was it because we weren't measuring the data, right? We still had, no, this was completely zero.
It wasn't a lack of measurement. It was lack of taking advantage of an opportunity. And as soon as, again, this amazing team saw that and took it and ran with it, this is the results that you see now.
Okay, I stand corrected, okay.
So in similar fashion,
How does it work? So then, just explain to everyone how it works into.
Yeah.
So a college prep course allows school districts to partner with institutes of higher ed to do set courses in English and math that upon successful completion, they're able to enroll in those institutes of higher ed without having to take remedial coursework. And so by utilizing Texas College Bridge, again, they've partnered with 105 institutes of higher ed. They've been able to work with our students to give them these certificates of completion so that they can enroll in these colleges and universities without taking remedial college coursework in English and math.
And while that's great, but also can you explain why this is also important in terms of how it impacts the scoring?
Oh, absolutely, because
Because
when you
that's a
look at the
connection.
data related specifically to college career and military readiness, this was the big deficit when it came to college readiness. We were not taking advantage. By being at 0 across the board, that put us at a massive deficit compared to our other district partners around us.
And Mr. Perkins made that clear when we were going through those 4 months of all of this back and forth, and that we can't even imagine. Like, we were running a race with our legs and arms bound.
Yes, sir, because if you looked at the data for SAT and ACT, we're strong. We're strong compared to other districts. This was a 0 added to that average that was bringing our entire district score down.
Sure. So,
That's great.
So in similar fashion, you'll see the same thing related to college readiness on the math front. Again, taking into account SAT, ACT, TSIA2, as well as our college prep courses in math. Again, those blue bars represent where we're projected to be in 2026. And again, large part of those gains related to that college prep math course that we were not taking advantage of. And again, you see very high successful completion rates there for all of our high schools. When we look at other data related to college readiness, we see that our AP and IB exams are remaining strong. Again, we are above the state regarding this, and so we're going to continue to do this work with our campuses to make sure that we are equipping them to be successful on those AP and IB exams. And then as well, when we look at UT on-ramps, again, remember that's that partnership with the University of Texas at Austin. I just want to point out that our district has remained strong. We've consistently been about 20 percentage points above the state. The state's at about 6% through UT on-ramps. Last year, we were about 26%, and overall, we're projected to be about a 31% going into 2026 as it relates to UT on-ramps completion. If no questions, I'll turn it over to Mr. Wilson for CTE data.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Wilson, Director of CTE. All right, so what we have here is our IBC data. So these are the students that got CCMR based on being a completer and IBC. So you'll see that the state average is 35%. Last year, Humble ISD was at 19%, and we're projected to be at 20%. That doesn't sound like a lot. However, we were anticipating a dip because there were some changes to that. So for the class of 2025, students needed to have 2 courses and a program of study. For the class of 2026, students need to have 4 credits, 3 courses, and one of those courses needed to be a level 3 or 4 course. So we were anticipating a drop, and to see that 1%, we were actually pretty pleased with that. You'll see that campus performance is holding steady or showing some growth. We're still currently below the state average, as many of our implemented strategies that we've done over the past 2 years really won't fully impact us until this year's freshmen or seniors. So we'll continue to see some incremental growth for the next couple years. Some of the things that we've done, we've identified and aligned 56 IBC aligned courses. So we have currently 5,500 students who are expected to attempt an IBC between August of this year and the end of May. Compared to last year, we only had 2,200. So we have about 3,300 additional students who will be taking IBCs this school year. Last year, our, earn rate was 72%, so we're going to hope that we keep that for this year. We increased our teacher support through expanded professional development. So a lot of our teachers, this is their first year to give IBCs. We started with our beginning of the year PD, having a lot of our vendors out, training with them, doing some one-on-ones as well. We've also designated cluster leads for all of our CTE clusters. Each of them have a cluster lead. This is someone who supports them and serves as an advocate and almost like an instructional coach to help them with the IBCs and all things instruction for CTE. We've also implemented required IBC data submission. So prior to this year, teachers could give an IBC in August, and they were not required to submit that data until May. This year, teachers are required to submit data at the end of every grading cycle, which leads me to my next point. We developed an IBC tracking system. So at the beginning of the school year, all of our CTE assistant principals at the high school level received an IBC tracker. And CTE basically provided them some talking points at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year to have with teachers and say, hey, you have 22 students in your social media marketing class. I'm going to expect 22 students to take the social media marketing exam. And that's at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of year conversations. And then we also host quarterly data review meetings with our CTE assistant principal teams to monitor IBC data.
Couple of questions,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilson. What platform are you using to do the tracking? I know that, I believe you switched to School Links last year. I believe, what was it, Q2, last semester, last school year semester. how are we doing on School Links? Because I know that was how we track CCMR. So is that the tool or the apparatus that we're using?
So
to feed-
CTE, the teachers report in EduThings, but the campus and district tracks through School Links. Do you want to talk about that?
So it's kind of a dual-step process. So EduThings is what is used for the CTE-specific IBCs, then that data is uploaded into School Links on a quarterly basis by Mr. Wilson and his team. So it's, the campuses don't actually upload into School Links. They upload to EduThings, and then we go from there to upload it into the School Links platform.
How is School Links going? Because I know when we had our board meeting in September.
You approved it at the end of last year. We started implementation over the summer.
Well, hold on, I didn't finish my question, hold on, I'm sorry. I was saying regarding School Links, I believe in September, it was told, I know, to me, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that I believe we needed senior data, right, for course selection, but correct me if I'm wrong, and I had to write this down, because I had to talk to some of my colleagues around the state that utilize School Links. Senior course selection is not needed, but I believe that was the reason why we said that School Links wasn't fully operational. So why would we need senior data for the CCMR tracking, especially for School Links to be implemented? And I guess what I'm getting to, the main question is, are we fully utilizing it?
So there's kind of several different points there in there. We need the senior data in there in order to track the current senior CCMR status. That's the only way that the data is going to run. One of the things that we had to wait and do that just has been completed at the end of February 27th, Ty, I believe, was course selection for the rest of the students. So when we implemented the new system, we made the intentional decision not to try to transfer their data from Naviance over because it was messy. Kids could do multiple course plans in Naviance, and it didn't just pick one. It tried to incorporate all of them, and it just made it really messy in School Links. So we decided just to start clean. We knew there wouldn't be full data in there at the beginning of this year, but through the course selection process, that should be all in there now. Right now, in our master scheduling timeline, the counselors are in cleanup process right now in School Links. They have till March 24th on that.
So I was going to ask this then, because I know that it was promised to the board, I believe, that by December, as in I think 3 months ago, School Links would be fully operational and there would be no use for or no need for spreadsheets. Are we there yet?
No. So what is working is we have most of the components we have worked out. I mean, just being honest, this large implementation, there were unforeseen things that we hadn't anticipated when it came to uploading. There were components, IBCs was one of them. When we uploaded it, we got fatal errors every time we tried. We had to send those off to School Links to try to figure out what was going wrong with our data file. That was one that we have now gotten complete. Dual credit is one we actually just got an email on today, I believe, on that one, because they weren't calculating credit hours the same way our e-school system was calculating credit hours, so they were getting false positives on the campus. So when I say it's been I've got to admit, the campus principals back here and their associates have been absolutely amazing at helping us find the issues, communicate with School Links. We have a running spreadsheet that we use to track what errors are still not working, what is working, where we're at with School Links when our last communication was. Ms. Hobbs has a weekly running meeting with them when it comes to the course planner side. My team and I have bi-weekly meetings where we are meeting with them to try to get to the data now on these, but we have had fatal errors we weren't expecting. That is accurate. So I'm not going to stand here and say that it's 100%, but every one of them that we know of, we are working on with them and have a plan as we've been going through. Chris's team in technology has been phenomenal. They're actually the ones that solved the dual credit problem for us today. Now we're just waiting for the nightly rollover tomorrow to see that it works correctly in School Links. But it's been a labor of everybody in this room, not just our team, of trying to figure out where to pull the correct data and get it to be accurate in School Links so they can go in without spreadsheets. But it is still a process that we're working through. It did not go as smoothly as we had hoped.
I was thinking, and I think we should probably push this probably to the curriculum committee, just making sure, simply for the fact that CCMR, that delta that we have to grow, I want to make sure that we've empowered our leadership teams at the schools to be able to track it properly, because I would hate to it be tracking right and then oops when we get the real data. I would assume data quality is involved in all of this?
Yes, they are. They are,
Okay.
absolutely. They have done a great job as well. I will say, none of our campus principals are going to be taken off guard. They're the ones who have helped us find everything. They are 100% on top of this and know where each and every one of their students are. They are 100% on this.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. So now we're looking at our CTE completer data. So you'll see that for the state average, we're at 35, or the state is at 35%. We're anticipating a 1% increase here for 2026. Some of our findings, am I on the right? I'm sorry. Okay, I am so sorry. Okay, there we go. So we're anticipating a 2% increase from 2025 to 2026. Overall district performance remains below the state average. As I said previously, our implemented strategies will not fully impact students or fully impact outcomes until the class of 29 reaches their senior year. I would like to highlight Humble High School with the projection of actually hitting
Awesome.
the state average. So kudos to Courtney and her team. Some of the steps that we've taken, we developed a clear program flow charts and provided training for our counselors, teachers, and administrators. We've added new courses to ensure that we had routes to completer in all of our programs of study. When I got the job, I noticed there were probably about 5 or 6 programs of study that we had where there was no way students could become completers. I think we're down to maybe 1 right now.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes,
one
sir.
question, and this is really for Mrs. Peterson. Humble High School, 28 to 33, can you just share what you've done, just real quick?
You want her to
Or
share?
either or,
They call, they listen, they
okay?
ask questions.
That's all I need.
I mean, and not to say that the others don't, but
Okay.
or you can add some.
I don't want to belabor it, but I think it does need to be.
Yeah.
I'll echo, it really is a team effort. It's not me, right? So like I said, I always take all the support. I ask a lot of questions, and anyone that I call here, they all know I have their phone numbers and say, hey, I have a question, what can we do here? So we did start at the beginning of this year talking with our CTE team saying, hey, there is an expectation. We are in the business of making sure that students are getting everything that they need. They're able to be completers. So if we thought before that there was an option about staying on a pathway, if we thought before that there was an option about taking an IBC, that's no longer an option. So at the very beginning of the school year, we set those expectations with the teachers, and the teachers took it and ran with it. They took it and said, hey, I hear you, Ms. Peterson, but I need this to make it happen. So when that happens, I call over to Larry, I call over to Melissa, and they are very, very helpful to make sure that our teachers have what they need to be able to get to this type of status.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, Mr. Grabowski.
Good evening, Mr. Wilson. Thank you for being here. I'm just making sure I understand this slide, something that maybe I'm reading into it or is actually part of the slide, that you look at some of the schools that have lower numbers compared to state average, but they may be fewer students going after a CTE certificate or industry-based certificate because they're getting their markers in other areas. Is that correct?
That could be. Yeah, that could be a reason.
Yeah, okay. That's.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it is.
I was making
Yes, it is. I'm sorry, Meredith. I'm sorry. Yes, that's what it is.
And a couple of the principals that are in some of those lower markers talk to what are some of the other things that you're doing? Because, this is not a reflection of your campuses on that.
Yes, I think that's a good point, and it's a good segue because we do have 2 campuses that are going to come forward, and they're going to talk to us for a few minutes about some of the framework that they have in place to support CCMR. So I'm going to invite up.
Before we do that, let me just jump in here on these 2 slides because I want to say something before our principals come up here, and I'll let Dr. Hicks introduce them. So these last 2 slides you looked at, if you remember back to our conversations in our board workshops regarding CCMR and what the district was going to do to move forward in those areas, that first slide in IBCs, this is the first year that we've required CTE teachers who teach an IBC course to give the exam. This is the first year, this school year, is we're tracking who's enrolled, the number of kids enrolled in each one of those teachers' classrooms. That's that tracker that Mr. Wilson mentioned to you. How many of those kids have taken it? How well did they score on it? and then comparing those scores across the district to other campuses to find the programs that are doing well with those IBCs and then spreading that across the rest of the district. So that's that. When I say the IBC, these two slides that you see here, they're going to take the longest to recover from, because we weren't doing those IBC things in the past, and now this year we are. It's mandatory for the campuses to do these and the teachers to do them. The completer slide, if you remember when I talked about, this is years to turn that slide around, because you essentially now, without going into the details, you enter ninth grade and you have to stay in the pathway the entire time, and then take the IBC and pass it, then you get your check mark. So in the past, Humble ISD has not kept kids in pathways. We let kids jump all over the place, from welding to health science and back to another pathway. Other districts years ago stopped letting kids do that and basically said, when you choose a pathway as a ninth grader, you're going to have to stay in it, because if you don't, you'll never meet the specific requirements to become CCMR. That takes years to overcome. That's why they talked about starting with our freshmen that are entering. That's why it's so important in 8th grade that parents and kids choose wisely in their CTE pathway, because these kids you're seeing on the screen on that last slide there, those are the kids that aren't meeting the SAT or TSI necessarily requirement, or maybe they do have it, but the only way for them to be CCMR'd for us is to stay in that career pathway, take the IBC, and pass it. So there's not going to be an overnight, a couple of those slides were overnight for us. So these last two slides, these are going to be processes that we put in place now that are going to transcend over the next couple of years, and we're going to see slow growth in that. And it's going to take us a little time to catch up to the state average in these, again, because other districts have been doing it for 3 years now. So I just want to remind that. Now I'll let Dr. Hicks bring up those principles for you.
One thing I would like to add before I sit down, we did realize this year that we did not as the department did not do a good job at training and informing our middle schools about CCMR. I think we spent so much time with the high school teachers, counselors, and administrators that we forgot the middle schools. So in the fall of 25, we did a training that was titled CCMR Begins in Middle School. And we talked about how some of those course selection or courses that students select in middle school having a really big impact on those feeder high schools and the district accountability. One thing I also want to add about CTE that neither one of these slides show is that we have 300 students enrolled in dual credit. So there are dual credit CTE classes that also count for CCMR. It's not just about IBCs. We are also adding 3 additional dual credit options next year that would get us to 75 hours worth of CTE dual credit. And we also have 300 students enroll in AP courses. So yes, IBCs are important, and we're doing a whole lot there, but we're also doing a lot with dual credit and AP. That's all I got. Any questions? No? Okay.
So I think we're gonna talk to a couple of our principals now, because there are some structures that are in place to not only track and monitor, but to assist kids in reaching whatever the CCMR indicator is for those individual students. So I'm gonna invite to the podium from Kingwood High School, Meredith LeBlanc, and then I'm also gonna invite from Summer Creek High School, Dr. Matthew Manny.
Good evening. Matthew Manny, proud principal of Summer Creek High School. Ms. LeBlanc and I are going to touch on some of those structures, the first C, if you would, of the acronym CCMR. The first one I'd like to talk about and some of the things that we do across all the high schools with Texas College Bridge. So that's the one that was the 0, right? The opportunity that we have not previously taken advantage of. And a few ways that we were able to capitalize on that is that we have embedded that particular course within our English and math courses, so that kids have an opportunity to access that while they're on campus during their coursework. And also, as we've embedded that, we've also made sure we embedded support within those courses as well. So particularly in junior and senior English and math courses, kids have an opportunity to not only attempt but successfully finish that while they're with our teachers. So that is threaded into the curriculum, as is the access to the program on the computer, right? So the second way that I'd like to focus on is TSIA. I'm not sure your familiarity with that, but that's the Texas Success Initiative Assessment. So that is the test that kids have to take in order to show that they are quote-unquote college ready, also known as the TSIA 2. So we give that at all 6 high schools on the weekends. Kids are able to sign up for that, and it's very popular. But we also now have embedded that test into classes as well. So kids have an opportunity to test while they're on campus. And also some of the support that Ms. Peterson mentioned with Teacher's Teacher. We've used that company and that group to help support our teachers, to provide some PD, to make sure that the skills that the teachers are hitting on align with prep for that college readiness indicator 2, so that when kids get the TSIA, they're successful on it as well. So that's also increased opportunities for kids. They have to have a passing grade on TSIA. That is one way that they qualify to take a dual credit course, right? And so when kids have that passing English score or passing math score, they're able to sign up for dual credit courses. And depending on the course that they want to take, that determines which one that they need, or sometimes both, right? So I'm sure y'all have heard, I know you've heard of our Dual Credit Summer Academy, and we use that as well. So the third part of that C, the first C, college prep, is the dual credit programs that we offer on all of our campuses. So a lot of opportunities there. We talked about UT on-ramps tonight. That's across all campuses. We also have teachers, of course, who serve essentially as adjuncts, and so they're kind of like a Lone Star professor in the classroom, and kids are able to access the college coursework. Our teachers deliver that, and they earn credit while in the classroom or on campus. And then a lot of our coursework is also done through Sam Jack in the summer for Dual Credit Summer Academy. So for dual credit, for a kid to be college ready, they just need 3 hours in English or 3 hours in math or 9 hours total in anything, right? And so by increasing the number of courses kids can take, number of opportunities they have, they're more readily able to achieve that. And then, of course, we're always working towards helping kids be successful in AP tests. We had some accolades across a lot of our campus, most recently from some honor roll recognition from College Board. But with the AP program, also an honors course, kids have to score a passing score, which is over a 3 on a 1 to 5 scale at the end of the year. That's one test on one day, right? And so if they're taking AP Physics, if they're taking AP Chem, whatever that might be, they have to get a 3 or higher. And that score then designates them as college ready whenever they earn that. And so we're always looking for opportunities to increase not only the recruitment of kids into that program, but their success rate. And Ms. LeBlanc is going to hit on that a little bit too.
Good evening. I think I want to speak just a little bit to two of the things that I've learned in working with CCMR, and two of the things that are really guiding our work from the campus perspective. The first is our goal has been to make CCMR part of the high school experience. I think when we first started talking about it, there was so much education that needed to be done with our students, with our staff, with our parents about what CCMR was. And initially, it felt a little bit like an extra thing that you do in addition to getting through high school, that you do in addition to graduation requirements. And what's really guided the way that we've approached CCMR is making it part of what you do when you're in high school, that it's not another thing, it's part of what you do. And so we've spent a lot of time educating students, educating our staff so that they can speak to students about it, educating parents through things like coffee chats and things like that, so that everyone is speaking the same language and understands that it's just part of what we do as a high school student in Humble ISD. It's not extra. It's part of what we're all doing. I'm seeing a lot of growth there. I've had staff members pop by, stick their head in the office to ask how the class of 2026 is doing right now and how they can help. Our students are seeking us out now to say, hey, I still need that thing, or can I TSI test tomorrow? Can you please stay after tomorrow? I promise I'll take it. And so they are now seeking out the ways that they can demonstrate readiness, which is really cool. The second thing that really guides our work is CCMR is personalized for every kid. There is no one bucket. There is no one size fits all. Dr. Manny already talked a little bit to the intricacies and the different layers that we build in, but it really is not a one size fits all conversation. So when we talk about it with students and we educate them, we start with what fits everybody, and then we really have to have individual conversations, because a student may be ready in English but not in math. A student may have their multiple choice TSI but not their essay. A student may need one component of something. So it really has become a very personalized thing. So That's guided our plan to really have several layers to it. As Dr. Manny talked about with TSI, focusing on how we can embed that prep in the coursework that our students are already doing, and that's work that we've done. Same thing with AP. We know, and we've already spoken to, Dr. Udicrit talked to, we've had success in our district with AP programming. We've continued over the last few years across the district to increase participation in AP courses. And our performance in AP programming has also gone up at the same time, showing that we can both increase participation and performance by working with our teachers and all the work that they do with our students. Another piece that we have layered on top of the TSI prep is SAT prep. That's something that I very much want students to get as part of coursework, as part of coming to school, that they can feel prepared to go and take the SAT when they're ready to go to college. And so we've talked several times about the teacher's teacher. Our teachers were trained. We sent teams of English and math teachers to be trained in TSI. And then 1 week later, we sent a different team of English and math teachers to learn more about the new SAT, what it looks like, and what preparation looks like for that. And so we're now embedding SAT practice questions into our English and math classes. Prior to the SAT school day for juniors a couple of weeks ago, we had our first 2 sessions of our SAT Success Summit for 11th graders. We had 143 11th graders who took advantage of coming on a Saturday for 4 hours and spending time with our teachers working on test-taking strategies for SAT and learning and benefiting from the work that their teachers had done. So that's a little bit about the layering piece that comes. So it goes back to that question of, are there other things that are satisfying some of those students' requirements other than the CTE certifications? And yes, it very much is that personalized experience for every student to make sure we're serving all of them.
I think Mr. Wilson said it starts in middle school, and I want to make sure to not leave out that every one of our middle schools does TSI prep and TSI testing as well, so that our students have the opportunity as they shift from 8th to 9th grade to take dual credit courses as soon as the summer after their 9th grade as well to count for this. So absolutely, our middle schools play a huge role in this. The other thing, to your point, Mr. Holmes, that you brought up, and you actually addressed it perfectly, Ms. Shaw asked about some of our strengths and challenges. So obviously, our college prep courses there. Texas College Bridge was a huge win for us because we weren't doing anything previously. We still saw increases in on-ramps and overall our CCMR culture that Ms. LeBlanc spoke about. That has been some huge wins for us as a district, but we do still have challenges to address. Our AP, IB, dual credit, infusion of TSI, SAT into the curriculum is the next layer, Mr. Holmes, like you mentioned. That is what we are working on now and continuing to develop with teaching and learning and the schools division so that this is all embedded together and not separate pieces, that it's all infused together. You are 100% correct. That's our next step. Partially just because it's what's best, but it's also what's coming next. You've heard a lot of us talk about it's going to take years for some of these transitions. Well, TEA doesn't wait. They keep changing the game on us a bit here. So this is our current 8th graders' future. Our 8th graders right now are looking at a completely different CCMR landscape than our current seniors are. They are shifting to a similar process of weighted grading for us in CCMR that we have on EOC testing for approaches, meets, and masters. So we have to change how we're looking at things for our current 8th graders. Again, Ty's team has been instrumental in working with everybody here to go down to the middle schools, talk to everybody, make sure they understand that these are the different things that we're going to be looking at. It's not just the same game as what our seniors are looking at.
I had a question, and again, the sheer volume, so help me understand this. I know that in secondary, so let's just say, when do our counselors, because I think there's about 130 counselors, right? Do we have about 130? 125.
Ms. Hobbs says 125.
And I'm looking at what Mrs. LeBlanc said in terms of personalized, right? One-on-one for that student. How do we address, with 130 counselors, the sheer volume of secondary students? I don't understand. Are we using AI? How do we do that? I can't comprehend it.
So I don't know if you recall, I started this position 5 years ago, and personalized counseling was implemented 6 years ago. The first year that I started, I think that across the district, A few of our schools were practicing personalized counseling, but not with fidelity. My first year, that was my goal, to ensure that all students received personalized counseling. And I'm not sure if you recall, our secondary students received 2 personalized counseling meetings, one in the fall and one in the spring, and our elementary students received 1 meeting for the year. And with those meetings, we also incorporated CCMR. We had Careers for Today. We brought in different people from different backgrounds to talk to our elementary students, but we also implemented our CCMR checklist. And so this is something, and it's been a labor of love for our counselors because they want to ensure that our students are college, career, and military ready. With the onset of this wonderful team and our great administrators, we've been able to collaborate and work together to make this dream a reality. And so our counselors have been meeting with our students one-on-one, individually, to ensure that they will meet their CCMR indicators. Does that answer the question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And you do know when you ask anything about counselors, I will be.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Hobbs is right. It's a joint effort. The counselors meet with the students one-on-one. The associates, the assistant principals, the principals meet with students one-on-one. We have dual credit specialists. We all try to come together to meet every kid, absolutely.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. That's what we have for CCMR. Hopefully, all of our projections are accurate. We'll see you guys in May.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Moving on to item 7E, Financial Services Report. Any questions from the board regarding this item? All right. Consideration of topics in meeting closing for future board business. Moving to, again, closing, are there any topics for future board business? Yes, Mr. Grabowski.
After that was very positive, but this, I want to say thank you very much for everything you just said.
Absolutely.
I have a letter here, and I get these every once in a while, and then I hand them to Dr. Brown, and so many teachers feel this is how they want to get their point to the superintendent. They de-identify it. They oftentimes hand it to my beautiful bride they meet at Starbucks or wherever, and she brings them home. They don't want to know because they're kind of scared to let the superintendent know. Not kind of scared. They're very scared to let the superintendent know what's going on. And so I've been talking that issue over with President Holmes and Mr. Silva, and what we want to propose is at the April 26th regular meeting, an action item to hire a firm to conduct an anonymous, that's the key, climate survey to our 3,300 plus amazing teachers and all of our admin as well. And this survey will go not just directly to the superintendent as in the past, but also to the board president, so we can get our eyes on it too. So we can work collaboratively to fix what the teachers and the admin really see may be an issue, but they're scared to bring out in front for the fear of retaliation.
So, and to provide a little context, and Mr. Silva, if you want to add any additional, as well as anybody else on the board, I know working in corporate America, we do these climate surveys all the time. We call them pulse surveys at my current company. And to alleviate that concern, it is managed by an outside firm. And I get results regarding me and how I lead my team, and then overall leadership, and it just keeps ascending. But I felt that it was appropriate and timely with a district of this size that we utilize every ounce of discretion in making sure that people, our teachers, our administrators, anybody that's an employee of the district, they feel that they can voice their opinion without any fear of retaliation. Not saying that it's there, but any perceived, right? For people, perception is reality. So again, this is a normal thing that I know happens in corporate America. It's normal. So.
Counselor, we really shouldn't be discussing pros and cons of why. If somebody wants to make a motion or have something added to the agenda, it's there and there's an up and down vote, correct?
I agree. It's time to call a question.
want me to repeat the motion?
It's not a.
There's no motion. Mr. Holmes can pull the board.
Want to
Yeah,
add,
just poll on the board.
Yeah.
Are we in favor of doing an anonymous survey managed by an outside firm, essentially a climate survey for employees of the district? By raising of hand?
but Mr. Grabowski had a
Oh.
date certain on it, too. So what date did you say? You just,
April, next month's regular meeting of the board, April 14th or whatever.
And to
Or
be
April
clear,
4th.
the question is about putting it on the agenda for a vote to look for a third-party vendor, not conducting the survey. Correct.
Yes.
Are we in favor?
Yes.
Poll of the board, yes? Put it on the agenda April 4th? Okay. All right. So there we go. All right. The time is now 9:14. Oh, yes, Mr. Scarfo. Yes.
I would just like to also, for consideration, ask that we consider having a workshop maybe in May to start discussing a marketing campaign for the district to address enrollment. We had a brief discussion at our last building and planning, and there were some good ideas thrown out. But I really think we really need to take that and really start to focus on how we market ourselves, because we're in a competition for students. So that's all I'll say to that.
All right, let's poll the board. Are we in favor of putting also on the April agenda, creating May, I'm sorry, May, a marketing plan to address enrollment for the district? Any,
Maybe, I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. I think maybe we should have a workshop sometime either in May or June, to where we can have a discussion about this separately. That's what I wanted to get to.
Okay. Are we all in favor of that? Poll of the board? Absolutely. Okay. Karen, we're good on that? Yes, ma'am. All right. Anybody else? Okay. All right, the time is now 9:15 PM. This meeting is adjourned.